AI has been proliferating all over the place. It's within courses, it's certainly within our business of what we're doing. We see it everywhere, see it all over the internet. If you ever turn on your computer, you're probably using AI. And Joanna, you have had a lot of experience interacting with instructors, working with professors. You're a professor yourself. Um, and what really are people saying within the space of education? What are the professors saying that you've had multiple conversations with? What are the basic thoughts out there?
Uh, I think the overwhelming thought is that people are very excited about it, but also a little bit nervous about it. So,
Oh,
most of us realize that this is the way the future is going, and we're very excited to jump on board and help our students learn to use AI, learn to use a lot of these tools better ourselves. But there's some apprehension there too, of course.
yeah, and kind of apprehension. That sounds to me like kind of a normal thing because a lot of new stuff always happens. And what are the main points that you see from causing the apprehension?
Well, a lot of instructors are not quite sure how to coach their students in where the lines are in using AI. So just like any new tool, we're kind of working it out on the fly, and we definitely want to encourage students to use these tools. But I think the main point of apprehension is how much is too much. So we want to coach students in how to use them as a support for critical thinking. And just like teaching critical thinking, at any time, that's a little bit challenging. And so we want to get students to become familiar with AI because, of course, that's going to be required in the workplace. That's, a skill of the future that all employers are going to have expectations that students know how to use. Awesome. We want to get them using these tools. But where is that line between they're just simply regurgitating what they found from AI tools, and they're using the tools to support growth in their thinking and development of their own critical thinking. So we're all kind of trying to figure out where those lines are.
Also, there's that kind of friction that's happening right now
Mhm.
with that. And I've read several articles that made me just kind of wonder. So I'm just going to put my thought out there, and
Sure.
then you're more experienced than I am. So I'm just going to put it out there, and you can move it in any direction you like. But I've read several articles where they said we don't want students to uh we don't want AI to do the thinking for the students.
Right.
And one thing that I noticed in my industry work is that uh, the tool isn't going to think for the individual. It's our job to help them learn how to use it to be that critical thinker. So I kind of almost get offended by somebody thinking that this machine's going to take over the way I think, right? It makes me kind of
Sure.
step back. But in reality, what's your thought about it since you're immersed with all of this? What's your thought?
Well, I feel the same way you do. I mean, these are tools to support idea generation and, language use and data processing and that kind of thing. But I remember back when a Google search came around and that scared all of us, and we thought, wow, we're just going to type something in and all this stuff is going to pop up. That's crazy. That shouldn't be a thing. Like that's not okay. And we were all terrified because we hadn't used it much, and so that's a really natural reaction for all of us to new things that come our way in education. I think we're always, happy with what is and a little resistant to change. And so, but, I've seen my students use AI for just, creativity generation too, which is really exciting. So just making cool videos that they couldn't make before, just taking lots and lots of data and kind of, working through it to process it with the support of some of these AI tools, showing students how, for me, because I teach in health sciences, how these tools can be used for diagnostic tools in healthcare, analytics, natural language processing to make communication easier between different groups. And so I'm really pushing for my students that you need to know how to use AI because these are tools that support providers in this field. These are not tools that replace providers in this field. So, kind of partnering along with AI has been a really good way for me to think about it. And so, when AI first came on the stage, I think we were all worried like, oh, our students are just going to type stuff in, spit this out, and there's their assignment or whatever. But I think we're past that a little bit. We're obviously, for beginning students, we want to coach them not to do that. That's not the way we're using it. But I think we're all moving past that mindset a little bit more to, how are we using AI as a collaborative tool, just like we use it in our daily lives. Like you said, I barely go anywhere without pulling up my phone and pulling up a map and, routing me there and seeing what kind of traffic I'm going to run into. And that's a perfect example of, just collaborating with AI to make daily life more efficient, easier. So I see it as a way that students can get from point A to point B much faster. So
Totally.
we're not skipping any steps in there. We're just going a little bit faster because the way we're gaining information, processing it, utilizing it, supporting it is just faster.
Oh, I love that thought. So it's really, I always fall back to the Dr. Malone's book about superminds. It's not
Mhm.
about removing the human or adding the human into the computer loop. It's about taking the machine and adding it into the loop so we can do things better.
That's right. Yep.
I love that thought.
Yep. And I think most faculty are moving in that direction with their thought process. I'm hearing less and less like, "Ooh, this is bad," and more, "Oh, this is kind of cool. How are we using this as a support tool?"